American combat troops are in harm's way in a new, dangerous theater. U.S. Special Forces are now on the ground in Central Africa, with more on the way. The first declared U.S. military mission in sub-Saharan Africa since the infamous Black Hawk Down incident in Mogadishu, Somalia. That left 18 soldiers dead and 73 wounded. As Chief White House correspondent Ed Henry reports, the president is deploying these troops to train and advise African forces fighting a notorious army blamed for years of murder, rape, and kidnapping. But the U.S. deployment raises questions. Why now? Why there and not other hotspots?
Tonight in Central Africa, trying to hunt down the rebel leader Joseph Kony, wanted for a brutal campaign of murder, rape, and kidnapping women and girls to become sex slaves. The move was disclosed by President Obama in a letter to congressional leaders Friday afternoon as he toured a General Motors factory in Michigan with South Korean President Lee. Administration stress the 100 U.S. Special Operations fighters will only be there for months, but still a dramatic move for a president who repeatedly made the case against U.S. boots on the ground in Libya.
I said that America's role would be limited, and that we would not put ground troops into Libya.
While the president stressed to congressional leaders the U.S. troops will be advisors, experts note they could be drawn into combat in self-defense.
Congress unanimously in both houses passed a law in 2009 calling on the president to put a stop to Joseph Kony and the Lord's Resistance Army.
That legislation, signed into law by the president last year, made it U.S. policy to eliminate the threat of the LRA. The president's move won enthusiastic support from Republican Senator Jim Inhofe, who noted the LRA is a small but vicious army.
Abduct young kids from 11 to 13, 14 years old, teach them how to use AK-47s, how to fight. Then they send them back to their villages. Then they have to murder all their siblings, their parents, and if they don't do that, they come back, they haven't passed the test, and they'll mutilate them.
Without mentioning the LRA specifically, Joint Chiefs Chairman General Martin Dempsey on Thursday made a strong case to Congress for having a presence in Africa to snuff out potential threats to the U.S.
So our presence on the African continent is part of our network of building partners, of gaining intelligence, and then when targeting approaches or targeting reaches the level of refinement, we can act on it.
Now, officials here at the White House and on the Hill are stressing tonight that a key difference from Libya is that was a large nation with a dictator, a big army. In this case, this is one lone terrorist with a ragtag group of about 400 fighters, so it's a much more limited mission. Nevertheless, Republican House Armed Services Chairman Buck McKeon vowing tonight he's going to watch all of this very closely, Brett.
And it's important historically missions can lead to bigger missions, of course. The question is about this release. Friday afternoon, this letter up to Capitol Hill, the Pentagon seemed to be caught off guard, at least at first, that it was coming out today.
It seemed like it had been in the works for a long time, but no one in this town had a clear idea, especially on the Hill, Pentagon, various areas, that it was really all coming together this quickly now. Senator Inhofe, as you saw, who is a supporter of this mission, nonetheless said he thought the White House was not fully engaged here early enough, but the White House pushes back on that hard, says this is the president, President Obama is the president who signed into law moving forward to crack down on these rebels, and they say they're moving as swiftly as they can now, Brett.
Okay, it's a big story. Ed, thank you. Much more on this with the panel.